Hi everybody, this is Barry Schwartz. This is the news we covered over the past week at the Search Engine Roundtable. Today is Friday, June 3rd, and I hope everybody's doing well. People are watching me live over there, and this is the, again, HD camera that I post later on YouTube for people to watch. Anyway, let's get started with the news for this past week. Big news yesterday came out from the three major search engines, Google, Bing, and I guess Yahoo. They launched a new initiative called schema.org that basically allows search engines to unite and form one standard for rich snippet and search monkey types of rich snippet data. Typically, they've used like RDFA and microformats to go ahead and allow webmasters to go ahead and communicate to the search engines that there's reviews, there's recipes, there's different type of data that could be used to richen up the actual search results on the search pages. So basically, they launched an initiative to basically unite and form one standard for that type of markup data, and it's at schema.org is the format. Google, Yahoo, and Bing all have posts about it on their blogs. But Vanessa Fox did a great post at Search Engine Land about this. The good thing to know is that if you already programmed this, you're not going to have to make any changes because all the search engines are going to support the old methods as well. But if you are building new sites, you might want to go ahead and use this new format. We have more information about this at Search Engine Roundtable, seroundtable.com today, Friday, June 3rd. Next topic is Panda. We ran a poll. I've been asking a lot of people about Panda. Have they recovered from the Panda update? And WebPro News, and there's some people who are claiming they've recovered. I'm not really sure. From what I understand, nobody has recovered. Nobody has recovered from this update. There were three releases for the Panda update, and from what I understand, nobody really has recovered from it. We ran a poll. The poll is currently live on the blog on June 1st, which I definitely recommend taking. We have about 500 responses so far, and the majority by far have said no, they have not recovered. Literally, I can't even say, really, the majority have said that because 15% said it's not applicable to them, they weren't hurt by it, and 72% said they have not recovered from it. So if you get rid of that 15%, it's ridiculous in terms of the number of people recovered. 8% basically said they've recovered partially, but nobody's really recovering fully from this update, from what I understand. I'm not sure when a recovery will happen, but people are suspecting different types of things. Also, big news this week was that the Google +1 button for publishers was released. We actually launched it on our website as well. The +1 button is basically, I replaced all my Google Buzz buttons with the Google +1 button. It will be a ranking factor. It's probably a small ranking factor, but the more search results and pages that get +1, the better off you are in terms of ranking that page for the search results. It's obviously not that simple because there's a lot of factors that go into play, but Google has actually implemented the +1 button, which you can add to your site now. It works well. There are some kinks within and bugs, but Google will fix them over time. And it was launched this week. If you want more information about that, June 2nd at seroundtable.com. JCPenney was penalized about 3 months ago for buying links and for abusing Google's webmaster guidelines. 90 days later, they're back in the search index, back ranking very, very well. The one thing this showed me was that those link issues really had no impact on their rankings prior, because they're still ranking after the penalty was removed and after they got rid of those links. They're still ranking incredibly well for that. If you want more information about that and how the process and all the details regarding that, May 31st at seroundtable.com. Bing had some issues with their malware problems. Not issues really, but you think about it. Google, if you have a malware issue in Google, Google will typically find the malware within about 24 to 48 hours, label the search results with your website as having malware on it. It's not safe to go to it. And then if you remove it, Google will get rid of that within 24 hours or so, the malware label on the search results within 24 hours. Bing, on the other hand, says, Will from Bing actually said, a representative from Bing said it takes 3 to 6 weeks to actually remove the malware label from your search results, which could obviously have a major impact on your click-through rates from the search results. So 3 to 6 weeks does seem kind of extensive. I hope excessive. I hope really that Bing improves that, or that I misunderstood what he's saying here. That was on May 30th at SEOroundtable.com. Google AdWords is testing a new job extension. The job extension basically looks like it basically has a line on the AdWords result or between the URL and the AdWords description saying X number of jobs to view and apply for at this URL. So it's a new job extension. I'm not sure it's probably one of the AdWords extensions that's being tested right now. Obviously, Google has lots of AdWords extensions like ratings, locations, directions, all these types of AdWords extensions, similar to the rich snippet stuff and the RDFA, but specific to AdWords. And Google seems to be testing this new rich snippets, this new job extension. This adds more data to your AdWords listing. Talking about locations extensions, the directions or location, the AdWords extensions, the location extensions for directions is actually now going to start costing you money. Every time you click on a directions link going forward, that's going to cost you a CPC, a cost per click, at the rate of what you're paying for those cost per clicks. This is something new that happened this week. Most people are not for it. They think it's a bad idea. Why should they be charged for clicks on directions when it might not lead to anything? But Google's convinced that those directions lead to actual sales and you should be clicked. We have more information about that on June 1st at SEOroundtable.com. Twitter search is actually getting a lot. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm skipping. Google Checkout. Back to AdWords. Google Checkout, those Google Checkout badges that are on the AdWords listings as Google Merchant Checkout, those have been removed. If you were a Google Checkout merchant and you have AdWords, one of the benefits was you have a little enhanced listings or enhanced listing with the Google Checkout button. That has been removed, and Google said it's no longer part of the ad listing. I suspect it's because of all the AdWords extensions. Like, how many things could you have on an ad with the preview, Google AdWords preview, with the Google Plus One, and now with the location extensions or rating extensions? How much distraction could you have around those ads? And Google obviously removed the Google Checkout button, which is upsetting for a lot of merchants, but at the same time, I'm not really sure how much conversion it actually led to. AdSense made a new policy, or now enforcing a new policy, that you can't embed your AdSense ads in iframes. They updated their guidelines and their policies to say, nor may Google ads be placed in iframes. Just so you know, that's a little tidbit. May 31st at SEOroundtable.com. Twitter has improved their search engine. Their search results are now much more relevant and much more and somewhat more personalized. So now if you go to Twitter and you do a search, Twitter will now show you the most relevant results, as well as if you're logged in, it will actually personalize some of those results for you. The personalization is not so key, but you can actually definitely see the relevancy factors by just doing a search and then clicking on the link at the top, and just by default it shows you the relevant options by showing you the top results. But if you change the top results to all, you'll see it just fills up with just stuff. So it's interesting to see. I'm not going to show you screenshots, but just go to Twitter search, or go to twitter.com and then search for something and use that top thing over there. There's lots of factors that they use for the Twitter search. Static signals such as indexing time, and also resonating signals like dynamically updating over time, and other such parameters. But the Twitter engineering blog has a lot more details about how it works and everything. Twitter also launched their follow button. This follow button is basically a new button that Twitter released that allows you to add a button that says follow me, and when you click on that, if you're logged in, it would actually follow you without going to the Twitter site. But if you're not, it'll take you to the Twitter site and let the person follow you or sign off of Twitter. It's pretty neat. Nothing major there, but it's something that Twitter released. Interesting thing happened this week. I spotted a thread where somebody was complaining that that Google was actually indexing Bing cached results in Google image search. So if you did a search for certain types of keywords, the images that came up, some of them would actually be from Bing.net, which is Bing's image cache server. I reported about it. I gave it a sensational title, basically saying Google's copying Bing, which is kind of true, but not really. But the real issue was that Bing.net didn't have a robots.tsd file blocking Google, so Google just automatically crawled it without knowing. As soon as they found out about this, Google removed the images from the Google image search results because they have their own policy of Google does not like to have search results within their own search results. So Google removed it, and it's all fixed, and everybody's really happy. We have more information about that on May 30th at SEOroundtable.com. There's a great flowchart that Danny Sullivan made, and we're almost done now, that Danny Sullivan made on how Matt Cutts and Google decides to debunk information. Let me bring up the flowchart for you so you can see it live. And you can see right here is the flowchart. It goes through a whole thing of how Matt Cutts, it's fairly funny and humorous, and it makes things just definitely fun to read if you are a follower of Matt and Google. So definitely take a look at that. Pretty funny. And finally, it was the Memorial Day this Monday, and various search engines had logos or ribbons. Google had a ribbon. They don't do logos for days like Memorial Day. They had a ribbon. Bing had a nice theme in the background. Ask.com did as well. Dogpile did as well. And then Create a Site and Search Engine Roundtable also had forum themes going on for the Memorial Day. Anyway, thanks so much for listening. This today again is June 3rd, Friday. This is the past news we covered over the Search Engine Roundtable at SEOroundtable.com. Today again is Friday, June 3rd. And everyone have a great week, and we'll see you guys next week. Everyone, be well. Bye.